We're back here at Media Day in Hartford, Connecticut, and let's once again show you the preseason coaches poll, how the teams in America East are expected to finish. Boston U, the preseason pick to win it, with Stony Brook number 2, Maine, New Hampshire, UVM, Hartford, Binghamton, Albany, UMBC. That's 1 through 9. And the team picked to finish 4th, University of New Hampshire. Their head coach, Bill Herrion, joins us here now on Media Day live at the state capitol. So you see your team up there. You got a lot of guys coming back. You've got a core group of players who've been with you for a while, but you've got a couple of experienced teams ahead of you as well. So, I mean, that top 4 is, I think that's that group there, as you look at it, those are the teams that really have the most back compared to everybody else. Would you look at it that way?
I agree with you, Eric. I think you're right. And you know, I've said this is my 20th year as a Division I head coach, and I tell my team this, that I think preseason polls are what the other coaches in the league think of you right now. Mm-hmm. But you know what? You don't win championships in October, November. I told our guys the most important poll that we're concerned about is the one at the end of the year. That's where we want to try to have a chance to win a championship in the America East. What
do you think of you heading into a new season?
I like our team. I think for the first time in really my 6 years at UNH, we finally have, I think, a group of older, veteran, experienced players, Alvin Abreu, Tyrone Conley, Dane DeLegro, who have come in from day one, have really started from day one, and have a lot of experience. I think there's 2 areas that when I talk to my team about ultimately winning a championship and maybe being an NCAA tournament team, I think there's two things you have to have is, defensively you got to be really good. You've got to be able to guard people. I think at the end of the day, defense wins championships, and you need experienced veteran players. I think when you look at the champions in our league the last 3, 4, 5 years, Blakely, Veer, Maurice Joseph, Binghamton 2 years ago, UMBC the year before that, Albany back-to-back with Jamar Wilson and those great players. You need older veteran guys that have been through the wars.
Have these guys, that group of 3 guys you talked about, have they elevated their game in the offseason in your eyes to be ready for this year? Well,
I'll tell you, Alvin Abreu, Tyrone Conley, again, has 20 years as a coach, probably 2 of the hardest workers that I've had in 20 years. Now what I need, with the 3 seniors that have given so much to us, what they need to understand is now they got to play like seniors. They got to elevate their game like seniors, and I think if we can do that, we're going to have a chance.
How about the supporting cast? I know Ferg Myrick opened some eyes at the end of last year. He could be a guy who makes a leap this year?
Well, I think for the first time we have bodies, we have depth. We have 13 players on scholarship. We have 14 players on the roster, so I think we have bodies. I think in the past, because of our lack of depth, we had to really kind of ride guys for longer periods of time. We don't have to wait for guys right now, but I think Ferg Myrick is a kid that, second half of last year as a freshman really emerged, talented kid, can really score. We need him to take the next step. We think Chandler Rhodes at the point guard position, we're going to probably hand him the ball from day one, has had a great off season, a great summer, great fall camp, and we've got some younger players, some freshmen that we think can add some depth to our lineup.
What do you think of, when you saw the preseason poll, what do you think of how it lines up in the league? I mean, again, we talked about the experience. You've got O'Brien and Holland back, and that core, Stony Brook back. There are some good veteran teams, and then there's those teams that you don't really know what they have, and that could scare you even more sometimes.
Well, I think our league, the experience of being in this league a long time is that I think it's just so competitive, top to bottom. But I think when you look at the teams that are ranked at the top in the preseason, they have good, talented, older veteran guys. When you have that, you have a chance to be really good.
All right, we'll see how UNH is, because you have that. So here's to good health this year.
Okay,
Bill
thanks,
Herrion,
Eric.
head coach of the University of New Hampshire Wildcats, back with more here on Media Day in just a moment.